Something that most people don't realize is that you actually need to live in your own world if you want to be successful. And I'll tell you 3 neuroscience-backed reasons why. Reason number 1 is that your brain naturally adapts to what's normal around you. Your brain evolved to seek belonging because that meant safety. But in today's world, belonging to the average crowd is actually dangerous to your dreams, because the average person is not happy, fulfilled, or at peace. The most successful people in this world are not the ones who blend in, they are the ones who stand out. Reason number 2 is brainwave synchronization and the chameleon effect. Studies show that your brainwaves, habits, mindset, and even your language start to mirror the people around you. If they're stressed, doubtful, or settling, it is more likely that you will be too. If you want to live an extraordinary life, you need to protect your energy and your brain, and sometimes that means living in your own world. And reason number 3 is that the rules you follow become the box that you live in. Most people are following rules they never agreed to or decided themselves. Most don't even realize that you can decide new beliefs for your life. I live in my own world to the point where I decide that certain limits just do not even apply to me. I used to get made fun of for living in my own world, but now I know that is exactly why I'm successful. It might feel lonely at first, but when you take your energy seriously, your people will find you. Here are 3 things that I do every single day as a neuroscientist and brain coach in order to continue to level up in life. Number 1 is identity shifting. If you do not shift your identity to match the version of you who has achieved everything that you want, you will be fighting against your brain. The same network in your brain that's responsible for your sense of identity is also responsible for your default mode of behavior. This is why every single time I set a new goal, I ask myself, what is the mindset? What are the beliefs? What are the habits? What is the energy like of the version of me who achieves this goal? And I achieve goals a lot faster that way. And that brings me to number 2, which is highest self-embodiment. Anytime I'm facing a challenge or I'm triggered or I'm stressed, I ask myself, how would the highest version of me move through this situation? And then I consciously make the decision to move like that. This activates neuroplasticity. This is how you strengthen new pathways in your brain and create a new reality rather than reinforcing your old one. And number 3 is novelty. If you want to keep leveling up, you cannot let your brain get too comfortable. My favorite way to do this is with environment. New environments boost neuroplasticity, which will help you to continue to upgrade your brain. There is also something called the doorway effect, where every time you walk through a doorway or shift environments, your brain actually shifts modes. This is why when you walk into a room, you forget what you went in there for. But you can also use this to your advantage for boosting focus and things like that. Science shows that the most successful people are able to do something that most people can't because most people's brains are stuck in one mode. And I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why and how you can shift this at the end. So most people spend their time either dreaming and imagining or they're stuck in grind mode. But successful people's brains are trained to do both at the same time. And this happens because of 2 major brain networks. You've got the default mode network, which is responsible for your imagination, self-concept, and vision. Then you've got the task positive network, which is responsible for focus and action. In most people, these 2 systems work like a seesaw. When one turns on, the other turns off. But research shows that high performers are able to activate both at the same time. They dream and do. This is called functional coupling, and it's how you manifest things faster. If you want to make your dream work, you got to have your head in the clouds and your feet on the ground at the same time. And yes, you can train this. One of the major rules that I live by and all my Mindcraft students practice is to live in the feeling state that I desire now. Live as the future version of you today while you move toward what you want. That is what makes you magnetic and unstoppable. Neuroscience shows that your identity is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'll tell you the science behind why and how we can use this to our advantage at the end. The first thing that you need to know is that your brain will work 100% of the time to keep you in alignment with your identity. So if you're trying to build new habits and achieve new goals, but you keep falling off, this is why. Because you haven't shifted your identity. You will achieve your goals when your identity matches the outcome, and neuroscience backs this up. There's a part of your brain called the default mode network, and it's responsible for your default way of thinking, feeling, behaving, and your sense of identity. It's also involved in predictive processing of your reality. So your mindset, behavior, and reality depend on who you think you are. I say this to my clients all the time. The only reason it takes a long time to achieve your goals is because it takes you a long time to become the version of you that achieves them. So if it feels like it's taking forever to reach your goal, ask yourself, have I fully stepped into the identity of the version of me who already has it? Are you walking, talking, thinking, and feeling like the version of you who has it all? The timeline of your life is not entirely based on effort. It is based on alignment. If you've ever heard the saying that other people's opinions are a reflection of them and not you, there's actually neuroscience behind this, and I'm going to tell you because it completely changed my life. So you don't actually see the world with your eyes or hear it with your ears. Your eyes and ears actually just take in information and give that information to your brain. And then your brain constructs everything that you see and hear based on your conditioning or programming. You don't see the world as it is, you see the world as you are. You guys remember the dress? Some people saw white and gold, other people saw black and blue. Same picture, different mental construct. Science actually shows that no two people see color the exact same way. I used to study that in the lab. This is not just true for vision, it's true for your other senses as well. I'll post a video on here, and some of these comments are just so out of this world, far away from what I meant. The version of you that you see in the mirror, that you hold in your head, does not exist anywhere else but in your mind. Every person that you encounter will hold a different view of you, and what they see will depend entirely on them, so you might as well just be yourself. Science shows that desperately wanting something actually blocks you from getting it, and I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why and what to do instead. When you obsess over a goal, especially the how or the when it will happen, your brain actually starts to work against you. The more you try to force something, the more your stress levels and cortisol rise, your mind becomes a lot less clear, and you lose your ability to tap into those creative insights because you're stuck in fight or flight. That desperate energy also narrows your perception and gives you a sort of tunnel vision, which can cause you to completely miss new opportunities or new pathways to achieve your goal. You make getting what you want a lot more difficult. But when you let go or detach from the outcome, your nervous system relaxes, cortisol levels drop, and your brain opens back up to new possibilities, insights, and creative solutions. You are a lot more likely to get what you want. This is why they say the best things in life come to you when you're not looking for them, because your brain is in a position to receive. You're out of tunnel vision and into open awareness of opportunities, people, and places relevant to your goal. Don't get me wrong, being focused on your goals is powerful, but if that focus is rooted in fear or feelings of not enough, your brain will filter for lack instead. So go after your goals, but don't forget to remind yourself of all that you have and all that you are right now. You need to move like you are guaranteed to get what you want. Belief is a biological advantage that rewires your brain and changes your life. When you fully believe that you will achieve your goals, you get more dopamine because your brain starts to anticipate a reward. It becomes a predictable outcome, and your brain loves predictability. And of course, more dopamine means more motivation, more action, more unstoppable. Having certainty in your path also activates the parasympathetic branch of your nervous system, which is associated with the feeling of safety, which means you can think clearer, take more creative risks, and enjoy the process. Belief allows you to have more fun and enjoy the journey. And this is where all of your success lies, because you're always going to want something else. Belief also makes you more resilient to the struggles and obstacles that you're going to face along the way. You take bigger risks and you bounce back faster. You'll also have a lot more mental energy because you're not constantly doubting whether what you're doing is going to work. Doubt is a dopamine destroyer. If somebody told you that in the next 24 months you are guaranteed to achieve your goal as long as you're moving toward it, how would you feel? What would you do? And how would you move differently? It's time to start moving like it's already yours. I'm gonna hold your hand when I say this, but focus is not a personality trait, it is a skill you build. Everybody nowadays says they have ADHD, and I myself have been diagnosed with it. But a huge problem is that distraction is everywhere, and people practice distraction every day. And every time you allow yourself to be distracted, you are strengthening the circuits in your brain for distraction. You are essentially practicing and improving your ability to be distracted. If you want to be able to focus, you gotta practice focus and strengthen the focus circuits in your brain. The focus circuits include the prefrontal cortex and the task positive network. Here are 3 ways to strengthen them. Number 1, mindfulness training. It has been shown to increase connectivity in the task positive network. Meditating every single day, along with a few other things, helped me to transition off of stimulants. Number 2, visualization and mental rehearsal. Mentally rehearsing a task lights up the same task positive and prefrontal cortex networks as actually doing it. You can actually visualize yourself getting work done with ease and being focused to make it easier. I've done this before. And number 3 is reading. I posted a book on my story a while back, and so many people were like, "Where's the audiobook? I can't read." I would start practicing that. I don't think enough people talk about the fact that you can absolutely tank your dopamine levels with your thoughts and words alone. So here are 5 things that I never say in order to keep my dopamine levels up. The first is I can't. It tells your brain the goal is impossible. Dopamine drops, your motivation will drop, and your performance will also drop because your brain will work to confirm that belief that you can't. Number 2, what's the point? Signals defeat. Your brain sees no reward on the horizon and your motivation vanishes. This is why having a point or knowing why you want to achieve your goal is really helpful for motivation. 3, nothing ever works out for me. It reinforces a hopeless reality to your brain. So a self-fulfilling prophecy because your brain will work to confirm that belief as well. Number 4 is must be nice. It signals envy with no action and tells your brain that success is separate from you, which shuts down motivation because the brain won't strive for something that it doesn't believe it can become. And number 5, it's too late for me. Halts possibility. The brain sees no future reward to work toward. It means no dopamine and no motivation or desire to work toward it. Neuroscience fun fact of the day is that you can hack how your brain experiences time so that you can get more done or just have more time. And I'll tell you how, because time perception is something that I used to study in the lab. So your brain doesn't measure time with a clock, obviously. It measures time based on memory, your environment, novelty, and your emotional state. That's why one day of traveling can feel like 3 days in one, and a whole week doing the same old things can feel like a blur. So if you want to get more done, you don't actually need more time, you just need to make more brain time, and I'll give you 3 ways to do it. Number 1 is to add novelty to your day. Switch up your environment, listen to new music, or take a new route to work. Number 2, get present at the beginning of your day and remove distractions. Presence boosts alpha waves in the brain, which slows your perception of time. And number 3, elevate your emotional state. When you start your work in a high vibrational state, your brain will process things more clearly and work faster, literally stretching time. Neuroscience fun fact of the day is that surrounding yourself with the wrong people can actually change your brain to make you less focused and less able to achieve your goals. I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why and how we can reverse it at the end. So the default mode network, which is your brain's autopilot system that is also involved in your identity, has actually been shown to shift based on who you're surrounded by. If you spend enough time around negative people who doubt themselves, your sense of self can shift to match theirs. Not to mention the fact that these people might project their fears onto you and maybe even scare you into living by their limitations. But then we've also got mirror neurons, and these neurons are your brain's way of syncing up with other people for learning and connection purposes. But if someone around you is stressed, anxious, or self-sabotaging, your brain can start to mirror that. Just being around someone who is chasing a goal can trigger automatic goal contagion, where your brain unconsciously adopts the vision of other people. This is why watching someone else chase their dreams motivates you to do it too. But if no one around you is chasing their dreams, you don't get that dopamine. So if you're feeling stuck, unmotivated, or doubting your power, it might not be you. It might just be your environment. If you want to grow, expand, and succeed, connect with people who make your dreams feel normal. Personally, I am ruthless about this in my life. Science shows that you actually have to break the rules if you want to be successful, and I'll tell you the neuroscience behind why. Every time you play the game of life by someone else's rules, by doing what's logical or realistic, you're training your brain to stay small. Playing it safe wires your brain for mediocrity. But when you start playing by your own rules and taking risks, you start to rewire your brain. You activate your dopamine system, which boosts motivation. You strengthen your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that governs confidence, leadership, and decision making. You shake up the default mode network of the brain, which gets you out of autopilot and activates new neural pathways. And alpha brainwaves thrive in unconventional thinking, which is associated with flow and your connection to your intuition. Being a little rebellious literally puts your brain into the frequency of genius. Following the rules might help you live a normal life, but it's not normal to feel happy and be fulfilled. That's why there's so many haters in this world. Life is a game, and the people who win are not the ones who follow the rules, they're the ones who rewrite them. I don't know who needs to hear this, but one of the greatest lies that we are told is that we have time. And you see it everywhere, like, oh, you're so young, you have the rest of your life to figure it out. Or go to school so you can get a job, so you can save your money, so you can enjoy the future. And I used to believe this lie until the second year of my PhD, when my close friend since the 5th grade passed away. He was 25 years old, and his passing completely changed my life. I realized that I don't have time to waste sitting around planning for one day. I need to make my dreams come true right now. I left the PhD with my master's instead, started my own business, met my soulmate, moved into my dream home, and I'm doing everything that I used to dream about now. And neuroscience proves it too. Time isn't real. I actually used to study the perception of time in the research lab, and I'll talk about that in a different video. But if you're sitting around waiting, thinking that you have time, you don't. Every day is borrowed and not a single day is guaranteed. So break the bad habits, start the business, leave that job, and tell them that you love them right now. Because that is literally all you have is right now. And don't get me wrong, I don't rush and I don't force things, but that's not because I think I have time. That's because I know all I have is the present moment, and I like to enjoy it. Science shows that you need to be extreme in order to get what you want, and I'll tell you 3 neuroscience-backed reasons why. Reason number 1 is that being extreme actually changes your brain and helps you become the version of you that has it all. If you don't do the work to reprogram your brain, you will continue to live in the same cycles and patterns that you've always lived in. In order to reprogram your brain, you need to boost neuroplasticity, which is your brain's ability to rewire. And neuroplasticity happens when you repeat something with intensity and emotion, aka becoming obsessed and being extreme. Your brain doesn't change through casual effort, it rewires through obsession. Reason number 2 is that obsession boosts dopamine, which will boost motivation and drive and give you momentum. Dopamine is also mental energy, which will keep you going when other people give up. And reason number 3 is that your brain filters reality based upon what you are obsessed with. Your reticular activating system filters your senses and tunes your attention to what matters to you. When you are extreme about your vision, your brain makes sure that you notice the people, opportunities, and places that match it. Your obsession becomes the lens through which you see the world. If you've ever heard the saying that we accept the love we think we deserve, there's actually neuroscience behind this, and it might change the way you think about things. So the first part of this is that your level of self-worth directly impacts what you can achieve and receive. This is something that I talk about a lot on here, but there was actually a meta-analysis done with 21,000 individuals that showed that there is a two-way relationship between self-esteem and your relationship quality, where higher self-esteem predicts better future relationships, and better relationships predicts increases in self-esteem over time. Now, the second part of this is very important because your nervous system seeks out and feels comfortable with what is familiar, even if what is familiar is not healthy. This is why we tend to live in the same cycles until we rewire that pattern in our brain. And lastly, I gotta tell you guys the magical kitchen story from the Mastery of Love. If you had a magical kitchen full of any type of food that you want, and somebody came to your front door and said, "Hey, I'll give you this pizza in exchange for control over you, or treating you less than you deserve," you would say, "Absolutely not, because I have a magical kitchen. I don't need your pizza." But if your kitchen is empty and somebody shows up at your door offering the same thing, you might accept it. Now, of course, this is a metaphor for the love that you have for yourself in your heart. Your heart is the magical kitchen, and the amount of love that you have for yourself within it determines what you will accept from others. Science shows that being pessimistic or negative literally kills you, and I'll tell you the science behind why and exactly how to fix it. Being negative elevates your cortisol, weakens your immune system, shortens your lifespan, and it wires your brain to expect failure, block opportunity, and completely ignore joy. And the worst part is that even when something does go right, a pessimistic brain will find something wrong. You literally become blind to blessings. On the other hand, optimism is a superpower. It boosts dopamine, it enhances your immune system, it increases motivation, creativity, and resilience, and science shows that optimists live longer and better because they're happier. Optimism is what propels positive progress in the world. Every step forward starts with someone who believes in something better. And please, for the love of all that is holy, be optimistic about your life. You deserve that. You deserve to believe that the best is coming for you. There are a lot of haters in this world. Do not be your own. You're gonna have people that doubt you. Don't be one of them. You are way too powerful for that.